Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday on Gaming with ADHD. Today we're taking another look at some Battletech miniatures, in this case the Clan Firestar from Catalyst Game Labs. Now if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that I'm a big fan of the technical readout series of sourcebooks for Battletech, containing hundreds of pages of rules for the big stompy robots that the game is known for. The books were presented as an in-universe guide to military hardware. And on the pages of these books, you would find an artist rendition of the mech in question, using a sort of technical line art in earlier days to the more detailed action-oriented art that we see now. Because the game does not technically require any figures to play, the art, to me, always helped solidify the image of the giant metal robot that I was about to take into battle. Now, miniatures have always been a part of the game, even if they weren't required. In fact, from the earliest edition, Battle Droids, the game did include miniatures to play the game with, and in later edition, when they switched to cardboard standees, miniatures were made available to replace those. Typically metal. They did try some plastics from time to time, but mostly they were metal. Now, in 2019, Catalyst Game Labs, looking to expand the offerings of plastic miniatures that they could provide, ran the Clan Invasion Kickstarter. And one of the sets that they've released was the Clan Firestar, which we're going to take a look at today. It contains 3 mechs from the original 3050 technical readout and 2 from the 3060 readout, which includes figures from the later edge of the Clan Invasion era. Now, you might be asking why I keep doing these unboxings when we can see all the miniatures through the window on the box. Now, they come pre-assembled. You get a nice, first front in view on the figure, but online you don't always get the best representation. So what we're doing today is I'm going to unbox it, take a look at the figures, and then we're also going to look at some 360 views of the miniatures while I actually take a look at some of that old classic art. Look at that stuff that inspired me, and then see how that has actually inspired the miniatures that we're taking a look at today. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's about 20 of these sets, and I've done about 4 of them. So I'm going to keep putting these out, and to make sure that you don't miss any, subscribe to the channel so that you can see when those new videos come out. And if you like what I'm doing here, give the video a like and comment down below. Let us know what figures are your favorite. Did you like the assortment that they put in? What could they have done better? But, I'd love to have a conversation about Battletech. It's been in my collection for over 30 years now, and it's going to be here for a lot longer. So, with that said, let's get started. We've got our box here, and sorry about the reflection, but like I said, you get a nice view of the figures. They're nice and protected in their little container. But let's go in and... I did not pre-open this. Let's go in and take a look at this. So, we've got our 5 figures and our pack of cards. Now, if you aren't quite sure what the cards are, they are pilot cards that add a little bit of extra rules because they give you, first off, the name of your pilot. And let's zoom our camera in. And wonder why it's not auto-focusing properly. There we go. So you get the name of the pilot, their gunnery skill, their piloting skill, and then you get a little bit of information about the pilot, what faction they're with. So in this case, Clan Ghost Bear. He's in Alpha Galaxy, and what mech they are piloting. Sorry, that is a she, not a he. All right. Then down towards the bottom, you also get the like any special abilities. So in this case, this particular pilot gets to make lateral shifts using a -1 modifier to piloting skill rolls to avoid skidding. So they give you just some little options as far as changes to the game. We've got a Clan Wolf, Fire Moth, a Jade Falcon, Kit Fox, Ghost Bear, Kit Fox, Smoke Jaguar, Cougar, Steel Viper, Nova Cat, Smoke Jaguar, and Clan Wolf. Now, one thing I will admit that I'm noticing, and it makes sense, but I wish they had done it a little different. Here we have the Alpha Strike cards. If you're not familiar with Alpha Strike, that is we'll call it streamlined rules. It's less granular than a regular game of Battletech, but it does allow for some larger games and more flexibility. So it makes it more of a game like Warhammer or another miniature skirmish game, but using big stompy robots. I have never played it, but hopefully soon. Anyways, so I have noticed that they haven't really included a lot of mech designs and paint schemes from clans that weren't involved in the clan invasion. I obviously get why, but I will admit, from a review standpoint, it would have been nice to see a little bit more variety in the factions. If you're not familiar with clan lore, there's what's known as the invading clans and the homeworld clans. Some clans never came to the inner sphere to actually try to take Terra, and so they aren't talked about as much, but they are still factions and do exist within the game. So it would have been nice to actually get some paint jobs for those units. But, oh well. All right, so with that said, let's move on to looking at the figures in detail. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is the Warhawk, or if you're an old school player like myself, the Masakari. All right. So this is an 85-ton mech, first making its appearance in Technical Readout 3050. And you can see that original piece of art on the screen. Now in 3050, this was the only book that they did this with. They did these nose-on sort of blueprint drawings. I like them. They do bring in that kind of nostalgia factor for me because I have been involved with Battletech for so long. But obviously it is a little bit harder to get that depth, to see the fact that it has the back bent chicken style legs. You're not quite sure how big are the arms, things like that. But I do think that this one definitely looks massive, but because they were all kind of the same size, it didn't do the best at changing that perspective. Now the next one we got was from the source or the scenario pack for Tukiad. So in this one, it's obviously a little bit rougher art, but it's clearly 30 years old. Art budgets have increased, but then you do get a better perspective of the length of the barrels in the arms, the cockpit, how the front of the mech is shaped, and I do think that it's a much better representation. And a correction: this is actually from the scenario pack Day of Heroes. Not Tukiad. Tukiad's going to be the next one we look at. But regardless, you're still getting a little bit better perspective on the mech. We now have a kind of top-down perspective. This is the piece of art from the Tukian book. This is from 1994. And again, you get the backward canted legs, the long barrel laser arms. I do like how they've kind of kept this perspective with the outward facing angle on the arms. You can see that on the miniature as it continues to turn around. And then this is from Tech Readout 3050 Upgrade. So this is where they kind of modernized a bunch of the art, recompiled the book, put in some mechs that weren't originally in 3050. So a little bit better perspective. I definitely like the art on this one. Now, I was not able to find a piece of art from the Ill Clan series, so we don't get as good a perspective of the art for the new figure that we're looking at. But overall, I think that the figure has absolutely captured that traditional feel, what it was doing, or what they were trying to come across with originally. So I'm getting very excited to paint this one up. The entry in Legends is for Katrina Steiner-Davian or Catherine Steiner-Davian, depending on whose side you're on. Not excited about that one, because not a fan of hers, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, so that is the Warhawk or Masakari. Now the next one we've got from 3050 is a 30-ton mech called the Kit Fox or Uller. And this one, I think, is kind of interesting with the art. I never got this figure, back in my day. But again, you've got your nose on art from 3050. You've got a gun arm on the right and a hand on the left with what looks like an SRM2. But again, you've got your nose on art. Now, in 3050 Upgrade, we got this piece of art, which is a much better representation. Obviously, it implies the speed because it's a 30-ton mech, so this thing is going to be able to jet all around the battlefield. But you can see, the shape, this rounded cockpit, the angled up, torso in the back, and I think they are capturing this art very well, especially when we move to the newer art from Ill Clan. To me, it actually hasn't changed that much. I think this is probably one of the more faithful to the original art pieces that they've done. Obviously, it's a newer piece of art. It's a lot cleaner in how it looks, but I think the mech absolutely picks this up and makes it look fantastic. I am really excited to get this down to the table. I've been having a lot of fun painting these, and being able to go back and do some of the ones that or paint some of the ones, or have some of the ones that I never got as a kid. I'm really excited. The things that you get to do as an adult. So, we'll let him finish spinning around, and we will move on to the third and final mech of this set that came out of 3050, which is our Fire Moth. Now, this is the lightest of the clan mechs to make their appearance in 3050. So this is a 20-ton mech. It's also one that I've always been a little curious about the design choice. So, again, we've got our front-on art here. And if you look at the arms, they're canted upwards, which is not something that I recall seeing in any other design. Outside of the big stompy robot, so we're going to do something different, do something cool. I have absolutely no idea why they would do that with its arms, but oh well, it's a design choice. Now, this is the original piece of 3050 art, and then in 3050 upgrade we then get this one. Obviously, more definition, bit different as far as the weapons loadout. We've got an SRM-6 on the right arm, a couple of small lasers on the left, and an SRM-4 on top of the torso. So obviously it's a much heavier armed version of the mech, which, when you consider that it's only 20 tons, that is a lot of firepower being brought to bear, but it's still got those upward-facing arms. I think this is also, bringing us the direction of the art that was used for the miniature that we're looking at, and I think they did it very well. But then, to finalize it, we've got our Clan recognition guide version of the mech. Now, I haven't said this enough, but I do have to give props, not only to the artists, but to Catalyst Game Labs. I'll be honest, I don't know specifically who did this piece of art, but I know the art director for Catalyst, and I think he is really pushing it in a great direction. Going for more realism, but also just fun new designs, even when it's just reimagining, older classic designs. So, anyways, props to Catalyst for that. The mech, I'll admit it's a little wonky in the way that it is posed, but it is almost perfectly capturing the pose that they've got in the art. So, anyways, let's go ahead and pull him off. We've got two more, and now we're moving into the mechs from 3060. And the first one we're going to take a look at is the Nova Cat. Now, this is from Tech Readout 3060, which originally was published in 1998. So I had just gotten home from Brazil when this came out. And basically this is at the end of the clan invasion era. So this is a 70-ton mech. It comes with 3 extended range large lasers in its left arm and 2 extended range PPCs in its right. Now, I didn't find any Clan art for this. Not saying it's not out there. I just haven't seen it yet. I am a bit behind on purchasing those. But I do like this piece of art. I think it, even going from this piece of art from 1998, I think they capture it very well. Clearly there are some updates, there are some modernizations of the art, but I like what they're doing. I think the sculptor managed to pull this off really well. This is a nice beefy mech that, it's going to run hot, but if it hits you, is not going to be a good time. Other than that, the pose is fine. The mech looks great, and it's going to be fun to get on the paint. All right, now our last one is the Cougar. Now this one I thought was always kind of interesting to me. Obviously it was from the Tech Readout 3060, but this is a 30-ton mech, no, 35-ton mech. And the first time I actually really remember it was from when I played MechWarrior Dark Age. This was a promotional figure. Was the first time it was released, and so that's more of the art that I remember. This is a little different to me. I think they changed the sculpt a bit, but this is the original piece of art from 3060, and then we've got our Clan era art, which it looks a lot boxier, especially, and it looks a lot bigger, especially for a 35-ton mech. You know, it's in the light class, but you know, it definitely gives the impression that it's a heavier mech. You know, overall, I like the design. I don't really have any complaints about the posing. You know, yeah, I don't really have any complaints about this guy. I'm gonna be kind of excited to get this one painted up. You know, obviously I keep saying that, but you know, what do you guys think? You know, which ones did you prefer? You know, have you painted any of these yet yourself? You know, overall, I think, you know, Catalyst Game Labs is doing phenomenal work with these, and I'd love to see what they come out with for the next waves of figures. I know all of the Clan Invasion figures have been released at this point, where, you know, even if they aren't necessarily in stock at the moment. But yeah, this is fun. I think they're doing really well, and I'm excited to look at the rest of the sets. So, if you liked the video, please do give it a like. Comment down below. Let us know which is your favorite out of this set. And obviously, if you like what I'm doing here, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm almost to 250 at the time of this recording. Hopefully, we'll be well past that by the time it goes live. But I do appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.